Welcome to New Life Live with host and founder of New Life Ministries, Stephen Arterburn. New Life Live is dedicated to transforming lives one at a time, thanks to the giving hearts of you, our listeners. Our goal is to provide you with wisdom from God's Word to give you hope and help in life's hardest places. If you have a question you'd like to ask today, our phone lines are open. Call 1-800-229-3000. That number again is 1-800-229-3000. Now here's Steve.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to New Life Live. When I say everybody, I'm talking about you, just you. And joining me today, two people that love chatting, even if we're on the air. They love chatting with each other.
Sorry, we're continuing.
It's hard for them. You know, I'm the one with attention deficit disorder, but that doesn't seem to be stopping you.
It's contagious, Steve. Yes, some of the rest of us may struggle a bit, too.
Yeah. Dr. Jill Hubbard and Dr. Alice Benton are in the house here, and good to see you guys. How are you?
Well, we're in a good mood.
We are. And so delighted to be with you, Steve.
Yes, and I want to mention something because I think you could still get in, and that is that tomorrow is the first day of Every Man's Battle, and it's in Houston, and if you need to go, I think they could probably still help you. I don't know for sure, but call them, and if you can't, we do it every month, so please go and be part of that. And just want to, man, this is what is this? The third day back, and it's so great to be back in the studio. And while I was just kind of finishing up writing projects during August and not being here every day, you know, people that I met, this program really means a lot to them. And it was so wonderful to hear how much it means to them. And if it doesn't mean anything to you, then you're not listening properly. And so, no, that's not true. But really, it's those of you who support us, thank you for that, because some people have told me that they really do love the program. And what we're trying to do here is help people to get to that place called better. We just want you to be at a better place. And, you know, if you put a little bit of better on top of better, you end up in a totally different place in about a year or 6 months. But it just takes a little bit at a time to do that, and that's what we want to help you do.
And it doesn't matter how hopeless and dire your situation seems, because we have seen, we have worked with, and we have lived some of the worst of the worst. And
That's
what
true.
we teach here at New Life and what we can help you to learn and practice, it provides results. Life is improved when you learn and practice what we teach.
Yeah. And there's so many false teachings. There's so many things that can confuse you, mess you up. You know, I'm confused already. When I was a child, I actually thought that if you were a liar, your pants actually would catch on fire. And there are a lot of different things like that out there that people believe about God. For instance, that, you know, every time you have a wish, that should be a prayer that gets answered. Well, it does get answered, but probably in a more complex way that takes a lot more time than you could ever dream. But God's listening, but he's not the big magician in the sky or butler in the sky. And when we come to understand that, but that he's with us in this fallen world through every struggle we go through, then we start to see God in a totally different way.
One of my favorite biblical promises is that he will meet all of our needs through his glorious riches. And we think we know what we need, but when we start to trust him, he knows so much better what we need, and his answers come that way.
Yeah. And the eternal God with which we have a vertical relationship always points us back to the horizontal relationships around us. Two most important things: love God and love your neighbor. If you're not connected to a neighbor, if you're all isolated and alone, how can you love your neighbor? That means get out of yourself and do something for somebody. We'll talk about that a little bit more when we come back. Glad you're with us today here on New Life Live.
I came into this thinking that my husband was the cause of many of our issues.
The New Life Intimacy and Marriage Workshop is coming to Dallas, Texas, October 15th to the 17th.
But after learning about our attachment styles, I understood how our past hurts were playing into our present problems.
Join Steve Arterburn.
It's been a dream of mine for a long time to help people to grow more intimately together, and we believe that everybody has room to grow in the intimacy level of their life.
And Mylan and Kay Yurkovich.
We help couples understand how their attachment style is sabotaging their current relationship. And then we teach them how to create comfort in a relationship.
And New Life's group counselors will help you focus on the area that will benefit your marriage most. To register or to find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Here at this workshop, we had our first ever conversation without yelling, blaming, and accusing.
1-800-NEW-LIFE. To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. I was talking with my assistant today, and we were talking about, especially Jen was talking about the fact that a lot of people are in groups, home groups, small groups. And here's something you might want to think about. We talk about loving our neighbor. We talk about reaching out to other people. And yet, a lot of people, all they do is go to their group. So how about challenging your group to take somebody to lunch, breakfast, dinner that isn't part of your group? Or maybe is even an atheist or somebody you met and you have no connection with them and you want to draw them in to a community of believers. I mean, really, that's the only way we're going to have some non-believers join us is if we get out of our comfort zone and talk to some people that maybe we never thought we would. Right now, I'm going to talk with, it's Frida from Washington, D.C., listening on WAVA. And Frida, how are you today? What's going on in your life? Frida, are you there? I don't think she's there. Maybe she hung up. I know we had her waiting for a very, very long time. She's calling from Washington, D.C. I want to mention to everybody, one of the greatest, most wonderful things in Washington, D.C. is the Museum of the Bible. And before it was ever a museum, I was so excited to hear about that museum. And I had been to Ireland. We took all of our folks over to Ireland. And the Guinness family, of course, they have the Guinness Brewery. And that was fascinating. And they had this huge presentation all about Guinness. And I thought to myself, wow, why don't we have anything like this that tells people all about the Christian faith and how the Bible's made? This is talking about how beer is made over here. And then sure enough, I hear about that they were planning on, the Greens were planning on producing this Museum of the Bible. Before it opened, I got word, somebody took a pre-opening tour, that the Life Recovery Bible was in there. And what an honor that was. If you are ever going to Washington, D.C., or it's worth just planning a trip, you could cover all of it in about 2 days. You will be fascinated by what is there at the museum.
Oh, I can attest to that. I went with friends, and it was amazing. I loved it.
And if you've tried other translations of the Bible and found it esoteric, difficult to understand and read, the New Life Bible makes it so understandable and applicable to your life. You won't be able to put it down.
I think so too. But anyway, we're going to go to a call here. But I do hope and pray that if you've ever, if you've heard about it or you love the Bible, you'll think about going, because there's one floor that just talks about all of the impact of the Bible in modern fashion, music, all the things in the culture, and then it takes you back to how the first Bible was put together. And it's just really one
right. It has the
experience.
Jewish scrolls there as well.
Yeah.
That's great.
All right, Museum of the Bible. You could go to their website and look at it. But right now, we are going to talk with Walt. Walt is calling from Durant, Oklahoma, and he listens on our app. And Walt, welcome. How you doing today?
Oh, pretty well, Steve. Hope you all are doing good. In fact, we're doing well, and thank you for taking my call. I feel a little stupid what I'm about to ask, but it really is something that's been bothering me for a while.
Well, Walt, I feel stupid almost every day. So you have called the right place, and let's see what we can do. What's going on?
Oh, that makes me. All right, Steve. That makes me feel better. Well, a lot of bad things have happened. I am a Christian, and I don't feel like I'm superstitious. I believe what the Bible says. I believe the Bible's the Word of God. But over the years, a lot of bad has happened in the month of September. September of 2002, I had a heart attack. September last year, my oldest daughter died. Just a few days ago, my neighbor's house burnt completely to the ground. It's September. There's other and of course, 9/11 happened. So many things have happened in the month of September that it made me fearful of this month. And I've already asked my pastor this, and he said I have nothing to worry about. But is there anything scriptural that talks about bad things happening in the month of September? I don't think there is, but I need to hear from someone who knows more about the Bible than I do on this subject.
Well, I know Earth, Wind, and Fire have a song about September, but I don't know of anything in Scripture that would tell you that you ought to be more wary of any month over the other. Now, I read a book about coincidences, and it's really a fascinating read. And I think if you were to read the book, you would walk away going, you know what, as strange as it seems, this makes sense that these things might have all happened in September. It has nothing to do with anything other than sometimes the random events of life happen more often, and certainly to me. Now you're going to notice things happening more in September once you start focusing on it. And I bet if you'd sit down and look at some other crummy things that happened in other months, that they'd be there also. So I don't think you're stupid in wondering about this, because man, there are a lot of things. And then I just want to throw this in, then I'm going to throw it back over to Jill. But also, Satan loves confusion. And so I believe Satan is real. I don't think that there's just some evil in the world. I think Satan's real. And I think if he can get you off track by getting you to focus on or hinting at the fact that there must be something here to this September, he can actually turn you into a superstitious person if you get too focused on it. So you have that going against you. You have coincidence that when you understand it, it doesn't seem so strange. And then you have this focus now on that particular month. Jill, what are you thinking?
Well, Walt, I think that there are things that often line up, right? In families, I've noticed that, excuse me, I got a frog, that in certain families, they'll have a certain month. It's not always September where things happen. And I think that there are also anniversary reactions that we have. So once something happens to us at a particular time, I think we have a heightened sensitivity and awareness as that comes around each year. I've noticed, and actually for me, September is a month where many people in my family have died, okay? But then when I look at the month of December, many people in my family were born in the month of December. And we have a whole cluster of birthdays. And I don't know why that is, but it just happens to be so. So there are certain rhythms to life and certain coincidences and things that kind of come together. And I think, yes, Steve, you're right. It can be a distraction, or we can make more of it than is actually true. But I think that idea of anniversaries is significant. And as I'm entering into September, I'm aware of that too. And I'm aware of missing the people that I've lost. And yet it's for me, it's a month of reflection. And I try to look at it that way instead of, oh no, September's here. What else bad is going to happen?
And Walt, you have been traumatized in this time period. You lost your daughter. You had a
Yeah.
near-death experience yourself. Oh, sir, your heart and soul are so wounded, and you re-experience that wounding, particularly this time of year. And that's called a trigger. And a trigger is a reminder, a stimulus that gets us thinking and feeling about the trauma we experienced related to that trigger. And so your fear is understandable. And I don't know that the answer for that in particular, well, part of the answer is, of course, in the Bible, but another part of the answer lies in the treatment for the trauma. Because when we receive sufficient help for trauma, the triggers start to lose the power that they hold over us. Your fear might paralyze you in September, or it might lead you to do things that become a self-fulfilling prophecy that bring to light all the evidence that tells you you're right about the month of September. That's a psychological phenomenon that we all go through. We look for evidence that confirms our belief. We ignore outside evidence that would counter the belief that we hold. Oh, but your heart needs more treatment for these grave losses you've experienced in your life and in September in particular.
Yeah, I think anybody who's gone through what you've gone through in September, I think you'd kind of be a little bit anxious about that. You wouldn't want that to happen again. And so I don't think it's anything weird and strange.
I am anxious about it. You know, I actually had 2 near-death experiences over different years. A heart attack, and then I had a bad internal bleed. I couldn't even come home from the hospital without getting 2 or 3 pints of blood. But also good things have happened in September. I got my first cardiac cath September the same year I had my heart attack, and it was successful. It happened to be on Friday, September 13th. They did that, and that gave me my life back. And I also got some other medical treatment in September when I had that bad bleed, which stopped the bleed. So, but yeah, my daughter died September 15th last year. We're coming up on that anniversary.
Walter, what happened to your daughter?
Yeah.
We were told she was fine, slumped over cold, and we were told they did an autopsy. That did not show any cause of death. She was only 31 years old, but the toxicology report came back, not methamphetamines. What do you call that popular painkiller today?
Opioids?
Fentanyl. They said fentanyl was in her system.
Mm-hmm.
Oh gosh!
And she left behind 4 minor children. And,
that you're now raising? Are you helping to raise them?
Well, I was going to help raise them. My wife and I were already divorced at the time of Sarah's death, and so she's raising them. She didn't want me around because I had a drinking problem. I mean, I wasn't violent or anything like that. I'd sit out on the porch and drink, and she said, "No, I don't want that around the kids." But yet she'll sit in the house and smoke cigarette after cigarette in front of those kids.
So are you still drinking?
I have. Today is 5 weeks to the day since I've had a drink. I'm just taking it day by day. Every day comes along, I'm like, not today. And I'm reading from the Life Recovery Bible and also reading from Take Your Life Back. And I listen to you guys every day. And
okay,
it's been a big part of my recovery.
Well, I am glad, but now I got to ask you this question, and it's always the question I want to know: are you going to any kind of group?
Online, yes. In person, no, because I was just getting my courage back to start getting around people again. Then this Delta 14 or whatever the heck they call it showed up, and I haven't had my COVID shot yet. I'm planning on getting it next week, reluctantly, because with my heart condition, I don't want to take a chance on getting inflammation of the heart.
Right.
Someone told me, well, more people are going to die from the darn shot than from COVID. So I thought, well, do I get it or don't I get it? But
well, I don't think that's true, and I took it and I didn't die, and I want to be sure that you stay with those online meetings. I think that's great, and that as soon as you can, you get out there and get face to face with some folks. I'm glad you called us, and I just want to mention one other thing about September. I've said this before. September, in some ways, is more like a new year than January because we've come off of 3 months of summer. People plan vacations and things, and you kind of get back in the routine of things, and many challenges are there in the month of September. So it can be one of the most difficult months ever. But I'm just glad that you let us talk about this a little bit. One of the things I like to ask now, should I be superstitious about my life in September? Then you say, well, what if I should be? I better get closer to the Lord. What if I shouldn't be? I ought to get closer to the Lord. I mean, no matter what it is or isn't, it really could be the thing that says we need to get closer to God and draw closer to Him. If you need help with that, we will help you at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. There are people there, they want to talk with you, they want to find a resource for you that would work best for you in your situation. And we're so grateful to have a call center and grateful to all the people that support us so we can have a call center there in Dallas, Texas. 1-800-NEW-LIFE is its name. If you call it to support us, gift of any amount, I'll send you Dr. Dave Stoops' last book, Living Strong and Finishing Well. We'll be right back.
It had become very apparent that some of the things I was involved with were taking over my life.
In today's world, men are barraged with inappropriate content and images all day, every day. Some say that certain behaviors are just no big deal. It's just part of being a guy. But it's simply not true. It's a battleground for every man, and the opportunities to fail are everywhere. New Life's Every Man's Battle Workshop can help.
After 7 years, he just one weekend, a completely changed man.
For over 20 years, New Life Ministries has been helping men regain their integrity and purity through their one-of-a-kind Every Man's Battle Workshop.
He said, I think this is something that every man should go to. Married, dating, it was definitely life-changing.
Now the workshop is coming to Houston, September 10th through the 12th. Don't wait for him to call. To find out more, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE or go to newlife.com. 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
Your ministry has saved my life.
If you struggle with emotional hurt, family or marriage problems, the pit of depression, or the pain of addictions, we can help.
I'm down 100 pounds now from what I was.
You guys are awesome. You're a blessing to America.
Our treatment programs provide clinically appropriate solutions from licensed professionals, all in the biblical framework.
I have had problems with alcohol. I think God has ordained this place to be His.
You don't have to be a prisoner of your pain. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
She tells me that I'm a new man, and I feel like a new man.
It worked for me, and it can work for them too.
This time it is different.
If you're ready to take the first step toward genuine spiritual and emotional healing, please call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433.
We'd love to hear from you. If you have a question or a comment, call toll-free 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We are back. Steve Arterburn here. Really glad you're with us. And Alice, you wanted to make a comment about untreated trauma.
Well, we all have triggers in our lives because we've all gone through pain and probably some level of trauma. And triggers elicit strong emotional reactions and usually unhealthy behavior when something in our surroundings reminds us of pain, even at a subconscious level. And if we allow those triggers and that trauma to go untreated, then we are so likely to perpetuate our unhealthy coping because the body and the soul can only handle so much pain. Now, the real answer to that pain is, of course, God and healthy people and safe relationships and therapy. But so many of us are afraid to go into the work because we think it will be more painful than what we're currently dealing with. But untreated trauma tends to get worse because of the unhealthy coping that we're going through. And so we actually add to our pain when we avoid the healing pain of facing the trauma and figuring out why the triggers are bringing about that reaction. So if you can relate to Walt's call and realizing that you feel overwhelming anxiety or anger or sadness at times, you have untreated pain, and we can help with that.
Well, and so often we stay in this perpetual state of fear and anxiety, right? Anticipating, as Walt was talking about, every September as it comes around, what's the bad thing? And so every bad thing that happens then gets pulled into his orbit. When things are untreated, so often the thing we fear and we're anxious about is the thing that already happened.
Yeah,
and the
that's
lack
really true.
of grieving what has already happened.
Well, there are some reasons that people don't get their trauma treated. Number one, they don't know that they need to. No one's said to them, hey, there's a specific kind of help that you could get for that, and it will really free you from having your life just burdened with this pain going forward and you getting triggered over and over again. They don't know it. Secondly, people know about things like this, but they believe they don't need it. Somebody says to them, look, just get over it, and or you don't need help, you just need Jesus, and all these kinds of things that folks throw out there. And then some know about it and they're just afraid of it. But what you fear could be the key to a whole different life for you.
Right. And it always upsets me when I hear people, or I've heard, parents talking about their kids, that they don't want to talk about it because they don't want to upset the person. Right?
Yeah.
And
Right.
it's like, excuse me, if this person is already thinking about it and you not talking about it means that they have to just internalize everything and they can't feel safe to talk about it.
Yep.
We do that
All
with
right.
people dying too.
We do. And there is hope and help, and that's what we've been doing since 1988. And the way that we've been able to do it is because people have supported us. And right now we've got Larry Sonnenberg in the studio to talk to us about support. What do you have for us today, Larry?
Steve, I'm going to keep going with some testimonies. One, this Every Man's Battle's tomorrow. You mentioned that at the top of the hour. And so this is the last day up until tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Central. Or is it noon? I forget. Early in the morning, call them to get into that workshop. And I want you to think about this. If what I'm reading was your brother, your father, your uncle, your dad, your kid, whatever, how much more inclined would you be to make a gift to New Life? And that's true across the board when we're reading testimonies. It's that important that you make a gift and support to help this ministry. But here's what a guy wrote. He said, I came here hopeful, but extremely apprehensive, knowing that this weekend wasn't going to fix this as much as I wanted that. I've spent most of my adult life addicted to pornography, and I had no idea I was addicted. During the second time I attempted to blow up my life, I realized the only way to attempt to repair myself was to go to this workshop. It was very difficult, hardest thing I'd ever done in my life. But I knew that if I ever wanted to have a life again, I needed to focus and stay engaged. I found there are more men with the same issues and problems that don't know how to repair the damage that they've done. I now have a group of like-minded men that I'm accountable to. And it's the other guys, it's the group process. And any workshop that we do, it's the groups coming together is where things change, where people have those aha moments and where their transparency comes out, the tears come out.
And it's a different dynamic, one-on-one therapy, which is very important and valuable. But the group dynamic, it's different, because I've had people say who have talked in therapy for a long time, they go to the group and all of a sudden they're just flooded with the emotion of it. Yeah. And so it opens them up to be able to receive from the others, right? And to heal their shame.
And folks, this weekend, Every Man's Battle has a cascading effect. And by that, I mean children of infidelity whose parent has been unfaithful are twice as likely to either be perpetrators of infidelity or victims of infidelity. But all of that can change when you are brave enough to make the call and get the help and stop the vicious cycle for your family.
And the ripple effect goes beyond just down the line. It goes to the wife. It's amazing how many wives stay with their husbands in the midst of all this pain and such. So,
all right, well, 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you need some help. 1-800-NEW-LIFE if you could help support us so we could continue to do all of these things that we do. And we'll send you a copy of Dave Stoops' very, very last book, Living Strong, Finishing Well. Thank you, Larry. We'll be back right after this.
I have a 15-year-old. She is very defiant, rude, and disrespectful to me.
Children don't come with a set of instructions, so what's a parent to do?
She has very intense screaming fits.
Do you feel equipped to tackle the tough decisions and issues that can have a lifelong impact on your kids?
I have a 11-year-old daughter, and I'm trying to help her with the situation regarding school.
Are your children ready to thrive in this culture?
I just feel like I'm at the end of my rope with her.
Let New Life's online one-day workshop, Fearless Parenting, Preparing for the Teen Years, help. It's Saturday, October 2nd. You'll learn about bullying, discipline, boundaries, challenges in parenting, smartphones, social media, and screen time, how your own struggles affect how you parent, and much more. With insightful teaching and the guidance of a credentialed New Life counselor, this one-day workshop can equip you to meet the challenges of raising children in the 21st century. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE to register or to find out more. 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
I was really living a very anxiety-filled life. I did go to Take Your Life Back. That's why I continue to support the ministry with the hope that not only am I helping my own situation, that I'm helping others as well.
You can help New Life Live stay on the air by joining Club New Life today. When you sign up to support us monthly through Club New Life, we'll send you the New Life member thank you gift of the New Life Journal, 100 Days of Peace, 7 Ways to Choose Healing, Growth Has No Boundaries, a Restoration Bible, and a New Life grocery tote to hold it all. Plus, there are ongoing benefits, like access to the Club New Life video library, the monthly Club New Life CD or download, quarterly resources, free shipping on purchased resources, and discounts on workshops. Call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433. Support Club New Life, and together we can help hurting people find help and hope in life's hardest places. Call 1-800-639-5433 to join Club New Life today. We're glad you joined us for New Life Live. To be a part of the program, call 1-800-229-3000. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Let's talk with Chris, Austin, Texas, and Chris listens on our podcast. Hi, Chris. Welcome to New Life Live. How you doing today?
I'm doing good, and thanks for taking my call. I've been listening to you guys for about 20 years.
Wow.
And I'm a New Life Club member.
Thank you.
First time calling, though.
Oh, wow.
So my wife and I have been married for about 7 years. It's the second marriage for both of us. Growing up, she didn't have the best childhood. Her younger sister had an abortion, but my wife was promised to never say anything. And then my wife got pregnant at 18, kept the child. So the other daughter became the favorite, and my daughter became a slut. I mean, my wife became a slut.
Oh my goodness.
Her mother, who was devout Christian, was embarrassed to take her to church. And then so she tried to find a husband, father for that daughter. That was an abusive relationship. Finally got out of that and started dating someone who ended up being a crack addict. So now we're with me, and hopefully over the years I've learned a lot from you guys, and I try to be a attentive husband. But she's got a lot of baggage.
Yeah.
And she faces everything as it's going to be a defeat.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not intimate. We first were intimate, and I think that's because she was sexually abused and she was acting out. Now that, we've gotten closer, hasn't happened in a couple of years, and I don't push it because I know the trauma that she's been through, but I would like it. Mm-hmm. And so she read a couple of the books. She read Intimate Deception, but she's unwilling to get help. She tried a couple of counselors in the past, went once or twice, and one was always asking about her job, my wife's job, not helping, and she never made a connection. So I want to try it again with hopefully a new life counselor, but I know she's going to be very standoffish to getting counseling again since it didn't work in the past, and she's willing to help everybody but herself.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to know what I can do to help her and be supportive and try to get her the help she needs, because she's an amazing lady.
Well, why don't you do this? Why don't you not suggest that she get counseling? What if you said to her, I really want us to grow closer together in these coming years, and how about we get some counseling? So then you're kind of tearing down a little bit of wall if you could get her to do that. It's not like she's the problem and you're wonderful. It's both of you need to do some work. If you can get her to
I did that.
Yeah.
I did that, and she didn't want to do that. So I took your guys' advice from other callers, and I got counseling for myself.
All right.
There you go.
And,
all right.
And then one time, I got the counselor to meet with both of us. Because I said I have problems, and so the counselor wants to talk to you to try to help me with problems.
Mm-hmm. Right.
And she got on it, but she hated it.
Yeah.
So I took it all upon myself. I'm the one that needs help, and I want to be the best me that I can be. And it just didn't work. She just didn't want to. I asked her, do you want to meet together? And she really didn't care to do that.
Chris, what would she tell me about why she hated that experience?
She feels nobody likes her. She feels that everybody judges her. And so I know the first time the big thing was, so my wife at the time was a CPS investigator. And apparently this counselor was obsessed with that job.
Oh.
And I think she went 2 times, and all this woman ever did was talk about my wife's job.
Wow.
And then the second one, I forget exactly what it was, but she only went one time, and she just didn't connect with that counselor.
Mm-hmm.
And so she just thinks everybody's more focused on themselves, and nobody really cares about her problem.
And life has reiterated that and taught her that she's right. You might be one of the few exceptions. Have you ever tried inviting her to a group approach or to a New Life weekend?
I've been thinking that we've recently moved to a new church where we're really involved with our old to be closer to our grandson, and we're just getting back into it, or we're going to want to start. We had a life group, and the amazing thing is when we first started going to life groups, she wouldn't say anything. When we start a life group ourselves, she blossoms in that role. She's a very great caretaker. And so I've been paying attention to some of the courses you have. I know she's going to be resistant. So I guess the other question would be the best way to approach having her go to one of your guys' seminars.
Oh, I'd have her. I'd suggest that you guys go to the Intimacy in Marriage together, or if you don't do that, you could do one of the others together. But I really do think that could be the beginning of everything being different. Is one of the online, or if you could do it in person. I just think that's very telling that you have a home group and she blossoms. When she's not the focus, or she's not the one that is viewed as the problem, which she was viewed as the problem when she did the right thing. If I was with her, I would be talking to her about what a hero she is in bringing a child into the world. And I rarely use this word, but maybe I won't even. No, I'll use it. And shame on the sister who allowed herself to be the favorite, knowing what she did and knowing the price that her sister paid for keeping her secret. And oh man, I just that's horrific. I hate to hear.
I know. Chris, your wife is right up there with Jesus, right?
Yeah, that's right.
Right? He was certainly, misunderstood and treated wrongly. And so was your wife. The sad part is it set up fear of intimacy for her, right? And that shame that her family put on her when she truly did the right thing. She's afraid and doesn't trust people. When you do counseling, and really your wife didn't do counseling, going once or twice is not doing counseling. Sometimes we have to try out several counselors until we find the best fit, the person that seems to click with us and that we feel can truly understand and help us. And unfortunately, because of your wife's history, as soon as she got the reaction that she got, she stopped and now is afraid. And I think that's so true. When she's put on the spot and seen as the problem, it's just so painful for her. And I think, Chris, if you haven't already, I think it would be good to explain these things to your wife, that really she was the hero, right? She was the suffering Jesus.
I do.
Okay.
Again, after listening to you guys for so long, I always try to build her up and how proud that I am of her. And I brag about her to everybody.
Right.
I brag. I'm about to cry because she's a great mom.
Well, yeah. No, she sounds like a wonderful person. But I think to ask her.
She'll never get help for herself.
Right,
She won't even go to it when she's sick. And she could do a virtual visit with the doctor. I have to force her to do that because she doesn't even want to do that because she never wants to seek help regardless of what it is for herself.
So, Chris, I'm going to suggest that you validate that she really doesn't have many good reasons to go back into therapy again because her experience of it has been so negative. And so you can't convince her to try help again, but you see her in pain and you see her great ability to help others, and you wonder how she would let you try to bring in more help for the two of you and see if she will brainstorm with you. And I feel led to say this, Chris, if you want me to call your wife and talk with her and hear a little bit of her story and talk with her about how New Life can be of help and a weekend can be of help, I would do that.
Well, I think, it would be good to take Alice up on that. And I'm so glad you called about this. Just hearing, that she doesn't even want to get help from a physician, not even a virtual call. It really shows how stuck she is. And here she is. She's a hero on two fronts. One, she had the baby. She brought a baby into the world. And secondly, with no training on how to be a great mom, her mom was horrible. She became a great mom. I want to send you Healing is a Choice. I want to send you the Emotional Freedom Workbook. I hope one of those might open up some things for her. Let me send you Jill's book, The Secrets Women Keep, too. I'm so grateful that you called us, and we sense you are a great man.
Yes.
And you are standing for her, patient, willing, and I hope something good will come from your phone call here. We'll take a break. We'll come right back for more New Life Live, and, we'll get to Stacy next, right after this.
For most of my life, I've been dealing with an opiate addiction.
Why is opioid addiction quickly becoming one of our nation's biggest killers? Maybe it's because it isn't only those who are addicted who are in denial.
We did what I see so many parents do, is it can't be an addiction. There's something medically wrong.
It's impossible to solve a problem when you don't know what you're up against, and families will try to find any explanation except the one that will put them on the right path.
Alcoholism and drug addiction is a family disease. It doesn't affect just the individual.
If someone you love is abusing painkillers, know what you're up against. It's time to admit it's addiction and seek treatment. Call us today at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. We have partner treatment centers around the country. Call 1-800-639-5433 or visit us online at newlife.com.
We just made a decision. We will do whatever it takes.
1-800-NEW-LIFE.
Hi, this is Steve Arterburn, and for 30 years, New Life has been the most trusted name in Christian counseling.
I'm an addict, and I'm trying to get God in my life again.
You seem to be able to get to the crux of a problem quickly.
Our Christ-centered treatment programs can help you break free to embrace all that God has for you and your family.
I just want to thank you guys for bringing me to a relationship with Jesus.
There really is help for marital problems, depression, addictions, panic attacks, and feelings of hopelessness.
I came back with so many tools to help me prepare myself to fight this struggle and this battle that I have every day.
You can start living again today, living the life God intended for you. Help is available at 1-800-NEW-LIFE.
They did care, and they did follow up very lovingly, and it made all the difference in my life.
Call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Someone who cares is waiting at the other end of the phone. God can open the door to a better tomorrow right now. Just call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. 1-800-639-5433.
To find out more information about New Life or to order any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. Now back to New Life Live.
We're back. Steve Arterburn here. We've got Stacy on the line. Stacy, how are you today? And how could we help?
Hi, I'm doing good, thank you.
Good.
I was calling because, first of all, I'm a New Life member, and I have been seeing a New Life counselor for about 7 months now.
Okay.
And I just had a question. I have a adopted son who is going to be 15 years old now in October, who is an only child. And he's always wanted a brother, so we've been thinking about foster parenting for years. But I always, first of all, my husband and I weren't on the same page in the beginning. And then now I'm kind of a little bit fearful of it. And so he still wants a brother. And I feel really sad because he doesn't have, companionship. And I don't know if I'd be doing it for the wrong reasons. I've always wanted to have more than one child, but just never made that move. And I'm just wondering what you all think about adopting or fostering.
Stacy, what is your most child? What's your most significant fear about moving forward with this?
I think what the child might bring into my home, what they've been through. Can I handle it?
And does your husband want to adopt or foster another child?
He does now. He wasn't a while ago. His kind of was not wanting to do it because of probably, the same reasons. He didn't think it was a good idea. But now we're a little bit on the same page, but it's just, and we've been through foster parenting classes. We'd start it, then we'd stop. It's like would be the third time would be going through them again.
Well, here's the thing you have to have before you do something like that. You have to say to son and husband, let's be aware that this may not be easy, but we're going to stick with it, and we're going to give somebody an opportunity for a whole different life. Because sometimes you take a foster child in and you find them to be shockingly, amazingly grateful and loving and wonderful. It isn't always a bad situation what they bring in. And so, but you have to talk about how you're going to talk about if things are difficult and what you're going to do. That you want to be sure we're all in this together.
And is there a way to bring a 15-year-old maybe into some of those classes or trainings? Because really, it's not going to be like a companion that's similar to his own age, right? There's going to be a huge age difference. And so he's really going to be the big brother, right? And almost like a third parent.
Well,
unless
do you mean? I mean, I'm thinking of bringing in a child just right under his age.
Oh, okay.
But I don't know if that's. I would say from 12 to 12 on up to 14.
So Stacy,
Or 13, or she'll be 15. So
I want you to do three things. I want
She'll
you
be
to
15.
list out all the horrible things that could happen and could go wrong, and I want you and your family to strategize. What can we do to safeguard against this? And if it takes place, what will we do? I want you to submit the entire decision to God, which I'm sure you're already doing. Because if He gives you the green light, then there will be blessing, even though there will be testing in this. And thirdly, I want you to consider respite care, where you take a child in for a brief amount of time and see what that's like for your family, and that will help make the next decision.
Okay.
What do you think?
I thought about respite care in the, to start there. I would guess I could start there.
Sure.
And
It could
just
be.
to see what that might be like.
Okay. Well, I hope and pray that things are going to go well. I just honor your heart there in wanting to do this, and given everything I've heard, I would just say let's do something, because I think there's desire and some passion, and whether it's respite care or foster care, just go for it. That's my encouragement. I'll send you a copy of our Healing is a Choice and Take Your Life Back, and I hope that will be. Let me send you also for your husband and son, The Soul of a Hero. It's a great book for dads and sons to go through. And right now we're going to go to Teresa, final caller, Orange County, listens online. Hi, Teresa. How are you today?
Hi, Steve. This is I'm actually from Durango.
Oh, okay. Well, I had eye surgery and it didn't go well. Orange looks like that. Durango looks like orange. How can we help you today? Don't have a lot of time, but I did want to get to your call.
Yes, thank you for taking my call. I am dealing with my 13-year-old son and his struggle with looking at nude photos. I call it pornography. And I just need help in what direction to do to help him.
Okay. And what does he view this on, his pornography? What's the tool?
He doesn't have a phone. He has viewed it on computers and gaming tablets.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
More recently, his school computer, which... Yeah.
And so how do you know about this?
I have asked him to see what he was viewing, and he did not want me to look at his browsing history.
Yeah, okay. Good for you. Every parent should. Every parent needs to do that. Jill, what do you think? What would you suggest
Well,
here?
I'm wondering where his dad is and if he's involved. And I'm thinking that, this is an important issue that you need to deal with right away. And we have books that are age appropriate for his age. It's Preparing for Every Young Man's Battle and Every Young Man's Battle. And I think that this needs to be talked about in your home, hopefully with a dad. But if not a dad, then mom, jump in and teach your boy and talk to him and find out what's going on inside of him. How do those pictures make him feel? What is he getting from that? How does he feel about himself? How does he feel about himself in relation to his friends, to other girls? He's right at that age where so much is going on with young boys, and this is a turning point.
Take it seriously and act quickly, but in a humble spirit. If you can acknowledge that you have also struggled in life at times with a behavior that can become addictive, let him know that. Let him know that you two are going to get help together for this. I would consider treatment and consider it quickly, but that this is a family issue. He's trying to feed a deficit in his life and in his heart and soul. And so the family can enter into treatment together to figure out what you and your son and other family members can do differently to help soothe that deficit and fill it the right way.
All right, I'm going to send you a copy of Every Young Man's Battle. I hope that would help. I think it will. Just talking to someone the other day who said they are in ministry today because they read Every Young Man's Battle. I love hearing that. And don't forget Every Man's Bible, best-selling men's study Bible out there. And I tell you, a lot of men are reading the Bible because of that one. If you need some help, 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's the number. If you can help us, same number. And thank you, Dr. Jill Hubbard and Dr. Alice Benton. Really appreciate you too. And all of you, and especially you. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. We hope this program has helped you by giving you insights for handling the challenges you face in your life. We want you to know that we're here for you, but you also need to know that New Life Live is a listener-supported ministry. To make your donation or to get any of the resources mentioned on today's program, call 1-800-NEW-LIFE. That's 1-800-639-5433, or write to us at New Life Ministries, P.O. Box 1029, Lake Forest, California, 92609. Please join us again tomorrow for New Life Live.
Hi, thank you for watching New Life Live. You know, New Life Live is a Christian counseling program where we deal with the hard questions about life, relationships, kids, free choice, freedom of will, whatever. It's all right there on New Life Live every day, every weekday, 1 p.m. Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. If you want to call into the live broadcast, you can find the schedule on newlife.com or click the social media link right below. You can see every episode of New Life Live on the New Life YouTube channel. Watch it with a friend, watch it later. Be sure to subscribe and hit that bell so you'll never miss another episode. So if you want to listen on the go, download the app. The link is right below. And I hope if you need some information, if you want to get some help, you'll call us at 1-800-NEW-LIFE. And I'll see you next time.